our next guest, Mr. Malcolm MacInnes, owner of MGM General Contracting. Please welcome Malcolm to the stage.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here this morning. I want to thank Sandy for this opportunity. And I want to call out all the entrepreneurs in the room. And you know who you are, because you're willing to work 100 hours a week, so you don't have to work 40 for somebody else. So I imagine that most of you here are here to get some business. And I'd like to reshape that today. I'm going to reshape that to, we're here to have the conversation that could potentially change the course of our business or our lives. And I'd like to share 3 personal stories with you to drive that home. In 2007, I formed MGM, and a friend suggested that I go and become a certified small business, so I did. I was at an OESBD function like this, but a lot smaller. The director of capital improvement at the airport was the speaker. At the end, a bunch of us lined up, and I got my minute or two with him. And at the end, he reached in his pocket, and he pulled out his business card and handed it to me. Said, "Come see me at the airport, we'll talk." That turned into my first project in 2009 at the airport. We've completed over 80 projects at the airport since then, and we've never left. That conversation changed the trajectory of my business. I had never done an aviation project. We go back to, I'm in college. I was a construction laborer, and it was Boston, it was 10 below zero, and I was scraping and oiling forms. And I looked up and the superintendent was there. Back then, laborers didn't talk to superintendents. I said, "I know how to do that." He was setting up an instrument to shoot grades. He said, "What?" I said, "I know how to do that." He turned and looked at me and said, "Well, you're an asshole, because you could have been doing this instead of that, and I could have been in the trailer drinking coffee." He said, "What are you doing this summer?" I said, "I'm working for you." He said, "Call me." That 20-second conversation turned into 22 years later. That got me the job. 22 years later, I was a partner in the South Florida office. We had 250 employees and $1.2 billion under contract. That conversation changed my life. About 10 years ago, I'm in my office. Phone rings, I pick it up. The woman on the other end of the phone says she's from Siemens. She got my name off of a sign-in sheet, and she's calling about the Delta inline baggage project. She said, "The team lead is down there talking to small businesses. Unfortunately, he has to fly out tonight. Can you meet him in 30 minutes? I said, "Yes," hung up the phone, and I went to the pool deck at the Sheraton Yankee Clipper. We sat at a high top, had a conversation for about 45 minutes. He finished his cigar. He stood up at the end, shook my hand, and said, "I'm looking forward to doing business with you." We won that award. That is the biggest project I've done to date at the airport. The relationship that I established with him, with Siemens, and with Delta Airlines was amazing. In fact, Delta Airlines put us up for the National Delta Star Award, which we won. The video that they came down to shoot in our office is still on my website today. So why do I tell you these stories? Because every one of those stories is a pivotal moment that at the time didn't seem like anything. It was a handshake, it was a name on a piece of paper, it was a conversation, it was a decision to speak up. But those moments changed my life, changed my business. So today, I would advise that you get excited, you get open to conversation, you get curious about people, and you go with your gut, and you go out and you have conversations with people that you wouldn't normally talk to, and see what you can offer them, and see what they can offer you, and be surprised. And remember, don't just talk to them, listen. Really listen to what they have to say. Because if you really listen to people, they will tell you what they need, and they'll tell you what they can do for you. Thank you so much for your time, and you're going to have an amazing event.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Malcolm MacInnes. Thank you, Malcolm.